I'm going to spotlight Miss Shellie, and I'm going to let her talk to you guys.
That's sweet. Thank y'all.
Oh, I just muted you accidentally.
That was so funny. I was like, oh, did I do that? That's funny. Okay. Thank y'all so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here. I love both Kendra and Dawn, and they, along with a few others, think that I talk a lot or well, or whatever words you would use to describe that, about mental health. And it's one of my favorite topics. And so I'm excited to kind of talk about that with you guys tonight. First, I'll give you a little bit of background about me. So I live in East Texas. I'm from a city called Arlington in the middle of Dallas, Fort Worth. And so about 2.5, almost 3 years ago, my husband and I decided that, us living in the city would be a great idea to buy 10 acres out in the country and, and go live out there. And so we've had a very interesting time moving from city, like 100% city dwellers. We did have 4 chickens to start out, so I think we thought we were like ready to go into this, wildlife, literal wildlife adventure. And so we've learned a lot along the way. We've had probably more downs than ups, but overall it's been good. And so I've learned so much. I'm no longer scared of wasps or bees, and that I'm not allergic to poison ivy. And um, apparently, coyotes and foxes are just a normal thing that you have to defend your chickens from. So it's just been so much learning. Um, but besides that, so I've been with Scentsy. It'll be 18 years this coming August. So I've been around the block a time or two. I've had 4 kids in that time. So I'd only been married about 9 months before Scentsy came along. And about 2 years after that is when we had our first kiddo. And I had 4 kids in 5.5 years. Don't recommend that many in that short a time. And there's no twins. I just popped them all out that fast. So I've dealt with lots of postpartum depression, anxiety, ups and downs in my business, ups and downs in marriage, ups and downs in friendship, and all the things. And so I love to share my journey because sometimes I think we can feel alone. And I know you can watch people's stories, you can read about them on social media. And so I love just sharing more and more and more, because even just reading a story here and there, you're like, oh, that's great. But then they're like, well, you don't know what I've gone through. And so what do you know? And I don't know all that. And so I love to just give my take on how I've survived, and I'm continuing to survive. And so there's a lot of things that can make us feel down and out. And I think it's important to figure out what that is in the season you're in. So if your business isn't going the way that you want it to, what's really going on, or if your mental health isn't fantastic, then figure out, what is it? Is it the weather? I know a lot of people get seasonal depression. I've never actually experienced seasonal depression. I think I've had like days, but I also live in Texas, so maybe it's not as bad here, because we do see more sun than a lot of other places. So is it that? Is it there's just so much going on in your life that it's overwhelming? Is it depression versus anxiety? Because there's different tools for both. Um, are you just busy and overwhelmed? Do we need to cut out things? Are you not getting enough sleep? Is it your diet? Should you be, working out, you know, doing yoga and clearing your mind? So when I go through a period of whatever it is, I do a lot of deep thinking, and sometimes it takes me a while. It's not just like, oh, I thought about it for an hour and then, oh, it's all fixed. Like, I have to really deep dive into like what's going on. So a quick example of that is, so I sometimes I do know how to say no. I've gotten really good at saying no to things. But since moving here, I've had the wonderful opportunity of volunteering a lot, and people, you know, needing my volunteering services. And so I am currently our town's Chamber of Commerce president slash chair of the board. And then also I accidentally said yes to being our PTO president around the same time. And so I was like, I can totally handle this. Also, while having 4 kids and a husband and a farm, and you know, being a superstar director with Scentsy. And so I'm like, I can do this if I'm just super duper organized. And I did it for about 9 months before I had my very first like massive panic attack. And so I was like, okay, I'm not handling all this well. So I'm going to go back on meds. It had been a long time, but I could tell my body over time was telling me, look, you need a little bit of help right now. And so I'm like, okay, fantastic. I'll do that. It's not a big deal. So I do, just, you know, in case you wanted to know my medical history, I did that in October, and the side effects were not fantastic. I went from like being able to handle stuff, being excited to get out of bed. You know, when you have that to-do list, you're like, okay, I've got my to-do list. I'm going to get out of bed and I'm going to conquer at least half of it. You know, I just didn't care at all. You know, and you have those days it's been like 4 months. I'm like, don't care. Have a deadline, don't care. Not going to earn that, don't care. My kids want to play a game with me. And I wasn't like mad or angry. I was just like, don't care. And I was like, that's not me. And so I'm like trying to figure out like what's going on. And I just recently figured out it was the meds that I'm on. Not great. And so it did take me a while because I thought surely it's not that. It's got to be something else. And turns out it was that. So sometimes we're going to go through stuff. Counseling is super helpful if that is a great road for you. I've done counseling. I've cut out family members, been through like lots of fun journey things in the last few years to figure out what's best for me. And even dealing with my own anxiety, I had learned tools on how to overcome it. Because I just didn't, at that point in time, I didn't want to be on meds. And so I just didn't worry about it. But then I knew it had come to a point where I was like, this is a season that I'm going through. I'm super in the thick of it. And I know that me being this busy isn't going to last forever, but I had kind of hit a new level. But also in that time, I'm like, okay, what else do I need to do? And so I've reached out to my chamber board and gone, hey, I'm in a period of time where I need help. Like, I can't do this by myself. I've talked in depth with my husband about like, when I say I need help, like that takes a lot for me to ask for help. And so you've got to take that seriously. Same with my PTO board. And I'm like, listen, guys, like I'm doing a lot of it, but I can't do a lot of it anymore. And I'm also learning to say, hey, like I'm busy today. Someone else has to pick up the slack. And so there's lots of different tools and things that you might have to go through. And even just I was talking with a friend the other day, and she's going through a hard time. And sometimes just repeating over and over, like, I can do this, but it's okay to ask for help. Because I think no matter who you are, sometimes it's just really hard to admit it or to say like, I'm not having a great day or I'm not having a great week. But it doesn't mean that you're not doing a good job. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person or you're bad at your business. Sometimes we just go through these seasons and that's fine. And I feel like I've gone through these seasons for many reasons. So don't ever feel bad about that. But also like I've gone to the doctor and we're doing lots of different blood tests to figure out like, is this just a season or is there really something going on in my body that long-term needs to be fixed? So just looking kind of at the whole scope, right? So if you're feeling any of that, or you're just kind of like, bleh, I feel blah, everything's kind of fine, but I feel stuck in my business, or I feel, you know, just my business is great, but everything else in life is just kind of blah. It's time to reevaluate. Especially my business, I love to reevaluate about every 6 months. It typically, not always, but it typically happens around catalog change. mainly because catalog change happens kind of right at the beginning of the new year, right? It's January, we're gearing up for February, and then that leads into a catalog. And so that's the time I start to relook at my systems. Now, if if you've ever felt like this for years, so I've been with Scentsy almost 18 years, and probably 10 of those years, I would hear these people going, you got to have a system, have a system for this, have a system for that. And I'm like, what are they talking about? Like, what is a system? And I would sit there and be like, okay, they're about to tell me what this system is. Like, what is it? And no one ever said, this is a system. And so then once I figured it out, I was like, okay, people, we got to explain this. So my brain never clicked, right? So a system is anything that you do consistently. So if you do your laundry the same way every single time, like towels are on Monday and sheets are on Tuesday and your clothes are on Wednesday, that's a system, right? If like my kids have a certain way that they do their chores, it kind of rotates. That's our system for chores. Same thing with your business. If you're following up once a week, whether it's consistently on Monday or Tuesday, or if it's just, this is how I do things every week, that's your system. If you're sending your happy mail the same way, that's your happy mail system. And so everything can be a system, but it's your job to reevaluate how effective those systems are. And that can really help your stress level. It can help all the things. So when you're having a bad week or a bad season, your systems are still working well for you. And so I went through a period in my business where I was ready to quit and I was done. And then long story short, clearly I didn't, but my business wasn't where I wanted it to be. And so I just started at level 1, right? Creating a system with my customers. I still kind of kept up with my team, but I didn't have any systems with that. So I created a system with my customers on how I do follow-up, and I did that for 6 months. I get really overwhelmed when I add too many things. I love going to World Tour and SFR and leadership and other retreats because you come home with all these great ideas, but then you come home and think that you have to implement all of them, and then you get overwhelmed and you don't do any of them. And so I've just learned that for me, I can't add too many new things. So I just start on it, and after 6 months of me tweaking it and getting it the way I want, then I'm ready to add something new. And so I've been doing that for about 9 years. My youngest was 1 year old around that time. So thank goodness for kids, otherwise I would never know any timelines. So if you're kind of stuck, you're like, I'm feeling overwhelmed, start with just one thing. Start with your customers and look at how you're doing follow-up. Look, if you want to add in happy mail, you don't have to do texting and email and mail. You can pick and choose what works best for you. There was a period of time where I was horrible at the mail, which I still kind of am. And so that it doesn't bring me joy to send happy mail. I know it's good for my business, but sometimes I have to take a break. And I used to use, email all the time, but now I just needed to focus on one. So I use Project Broadcast. But I'll say I was one of the last of my friends to join Project Broadcast when they were all using it for several years because it was too overwhelming. And I had learned to listen to myself, and I'm like, I want to learn that, but I'm not ready. Now, thanks to COVID, we had so much time on our hands, at least I did, because I wasn't volunteering. There weren't sports, so I had a little bit of extra free time to catch up, tweak all my systems, and then I was ready to learn Project Broadcast. So you can have a list of things that you eventually want to learn, and then you just slowly knock them off every 6 months at a time. So now's a good time to reevaluate your systems and how you want to do it, and tweak them, make them simple if that is what you're needing in life right now. If your health is kind of like a bummer right now, go see a doctor, figure stuff out, talk to people, do some research. I mean, not one of those like, oh no, I'm dying and the world's ending tomorrow type of research, but figure stuff out. I've found that when I am really thinking about something, I end up meeting people that cross my path just when I need them. And I'm like, oh, maybe that could, that's helpful. Get some physical activity. Like my daughter, I have, like I said, I have 4 kids. One of them is homeschooled, and she gets out and walks every day. And I noticed the other day she was just walking in circles, like around the couches. And I was like, what is going on? She's like, well, I can't go for a walk today. It's, too cold or whatever. And so she's just like walking around the living room. And I thought that was an excuse for me to like not go do anything, because usually her and I go on a walk together. And I was like, but she's still getting in some type of physical activity. Eating healthier. I don't know about you guys, but I could eat a lot healthier. And so just kind of reevaluating that. It doesn't mean to go throw out all of, your bad food and your sodas, but maybe just tweak one thing. Maybe like I quit buying M&Ms. I always had M&Ms on my desk, and I'm a stress eater. So I'm like sitting there like working, and then I'm like, and then I'm also getting cranky because M&Ms don't really fill you up that as well as an actual lunch or dinner. And so not only has it helped my budget, but I'm just only slightly healthier. Apparently my cholesterol is still high, but we'll deal with that later. Getting some type of planner, a planner that works for you. So I have always used like a Happy Planner or the Scentsy Planner, and I've tweaked it over the years. I call myself a recovering procrastinator. I used to procrastinate all the time. I used to think that I could keep track of everything in my mind because my mom was really good at that. She could remember everything. Turns out I didn't inherit that ability, but I thought I did, because I thought that's what, moms and wives were supposed to do. And so I would think, I don't have anything going on Thursday or Friday, so I will just not do anything Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I'll get it done either Thursday or Friday. And inevitably, I would get a text or a reminder that I actually did have stuff going on. It could have been a doctor's appointment, or, I said I'd volunteer somewhere, but I forgot about it. And then I would be like, oh crap, I didn't do anything all week, and I thought I was going to have time to do this. And then you're stressing, or you can't find what you're looking for. And it's just constant chaos. And I hated it. And so I reevaluated. So I took my Happy Planner, or the Scentsy Planner is very similar, any type of planner really. And I had it by the day. And I would schedule out, like on Sundays, I would literally time block all the stuff that I had going on, doctor's appointments, if a friend was coming over, play dates, all that. And then I would look at my to-do list and I would fill that in to the times that I had open. So I knew on Sunday, sometimes it would happen Monday morning, when I had time to work, when I had time to do the things that I said I would do. And over time, I don't even have to time block anymore. I just write my to-do list now on that week, and I can see all the things that I've got going on. And then I'll look at my digital calendar and see, okay, this is what I've got going on. Like I don't have much time maybe to work Monday and Tuesday, but my work days are going to be Wednesday and Thursday this week. And so I've just learned to better plan my time, so I'm not procrastinating at the last minute and then stressing out. And then that usually leads to like being cranky and not nice to people. And then you're like, get away from me because I'm trying to work. And so just a little bit easier to deal with. Now there's still those times, right, where you forget something and something happens, but overall it's a little bit better. So figure out what works best for you. So my husband has, we call it the ADHD. Half my family has it. It's fine. And so he has found this planner. What is it called? The Panda Planner. And let me turn. I won't show all the stuff. But he did a lot of research on planners and stuff that could help people with ADHD, because he has a hard time, even with like meds and all that. It's still a struggle, right? And so this one has like all these things, and it breaks it down. So it has like 3 things I'm grateful for, 3 things he's excited about, maybe an affirmation. But the biggest thing is his priorities. So there'll be 5 priorities for the day. And that has really helped him figure out, like, you know, there can be like 25 things going on, but he's like, really, what's my top 5? And then it's not so overwhelming. And he'll do that every single day. Of course, he'll miss days here and there, but he has found that has really helped for him. And I'll just have a running to-do list, and it doesn't bother me. I can pick out which are the top priorities, whereas he's like, no, I just need to be told what are my top priorities when I look at my list. And so that might be what works best for you. Spirituality, if you believe in God or you believe in something else, sometimes spending more time in that can be really helpful. There was a friend of mine who posted about her anxiety journey and how far she's come and all this stuff. And so I was like, hey, what's been working for you? Because I'm looking for a little bit of help. And she goes, honestly, CBD and Jesus. And so I was like, okay. And I was like, you know what? I'm willing to try CBD, and I could probably use more Jesus in my life. And so there's just a good reminder, like, oh, that, let me add a little bit of that in. But also that can be overwhelming. So figure out what works best for you. Find a buddy. Some people work really well with a buddy, just like when we have incentives and stuff. It's like, okay, find your accountability buddy. I'm not one of those people. I hate accountability partners. Don't tell me what to do. If I don't feel like doing it, I'm not going to do it. If I want to do it, I'm going to do it. And so, but I know lots of people who they're like, I wouldn't have done it without my accountability buddy. And I'm like, I wouldn't have done it anyway if I had one. So you just got to figure out what works for you. And then your budget. Sometimes our budgets cause us a lot of stress and anxiety. So figuring out what you could do to help your budget. There's, Dave Ramsey, there's, Jordan Page, and now I can't think of her actual Instagram for the budgeting, but she has a whole budgeting class that a lot of people love. Like if you're like, Dave Ramsey didn't work for me, then go check out Jordan Page. She has a much simpler version. She's also got the ADHD. And so doing all the different things that Dave says to do was overwhelming for her. So she created kind of her own, and a lot of people love that. And so then that can help with our stress and anxiety. Or just, winning the lottery, that could also help. But long term, you also have to budget. Asking for help. So there's lots of ways we need help, right? Finding, having your team help out. So if you're a leader in any way, shape, or form, then working with your people and going, hey, like, what are you guys doing? How can we help each other? If you just need help in like posting or coming up with ideas, I know my group page, I'm like, anybody who has an idea, post on it. Like, it can't just be me and 2 other people. Like, working together, you may not realize it. John and Kendra are amazing. But sometimes they want ideas and they need help. And so if everyone's working together, right, they say, was it more hands make light work? Something like that. And so it's true, even if it's just hands posting on your Facebook page. If you are married, you have a significant other, if you have children, put them to work. I say that rather jokingly, but I love to have more of a team effort in my home. Like my kids do chores, and they don't necessarily make a whole lot on their allowance every month, but I'm like, I can't do all of the things. I've taught them to do their own laundry. Some of them, my 10-year-old still needs a little bit of help with that, but they all know how to do their own laundry. They do their chores. They know how to unload the dishwasher. They all kind of clean up in their own way. And is it perfect? 100% no. Sometimes I walk in, I'm like, are you serious? Like, did you really just shove everything under the couch cushions? Because how long have we been doing that? Like, because I don't go after them and like check every single time, right? And I'm like, how long have we been doing this? Just shoving it in the closet. But it's been helpful long term. Like it's a lot easier for me to have the dishwasher unloaded and then I can quickly go in and load the dishwasher than it is for me to do all of it because there's a lot going on. So don't be afraid to ask for help and go, hey, I don't need everything. I just need like this thing. And so that's fine. Hire help if you need it. Figure that out. I know, especially in this economy, it's not always the right time to hire something or someone. But if that's something, if there's one thing that you can take off your plate, like think about what it could be and what it would take to get there. Like for me, my house is really small because we I forgot to mention this, but we moved into a really small house. It's like less than half the size of our old house. And so that's been even more fun. So I'm like, I feel ridiculous hiring someone to clean my house. It's like super small. We can handle it, right? But like my CPA, I hate doing my taxes. I hate doing anything of it. And so I'm just paying her to categorize everything now and to file my taxes and do all that. And so that's my big thing that I'm paying for. But if you're like, oh, I want to hire someone to do my yard work, I hate doing my yard work, it never gets done, then look into hiring the neighbor kid who charges you $20. Although I heard that they're charging way more. So good luck. Promise you'll find something or someone. Or trade services with someone. Do you have friends? Like I had a friend the other day who was like, we were on Marco Polo and she was venting about something. And she's like, I'm sorry I'm venting to you about it. She actually she's one of my downline. And I was like, girl, you can vent to me anytime. You know, like I'm the queen of venting. And so even if it's just a friend to vent to or to say, I need to get out of the house, I need to go eat lunch, you know, next Tuesday, I know I'm going to need to be able to like force me out of bed, force me to get out of my pajamas and take me to lunch. So even if it's just something like that, don't be afraid to ask for it. I know I would love it if one of my friends was like, please force me out of bed. Take me to lunch. I'd be like, yes, because I need it too. Um, and Dawn, thanks for all of your comments. I'm loving them. All right, so I've kind of broken it down because I talked about a lot of things, but here's like 4 areas of focus that you can use. And if you have a pen or a paper, or you can go back, and I know this is being recorded, but now's your chance if you want to do it live. So 4 areas of focus. We're going to focus on your personal, your family, or if you're like, I don't have a family, then substitute it with anything. With if friends are your family, it could be your friends. Your business and other. So other can be anything else. It can be volunteering. It can be work if you have a full-time job outside of Scentsy, whatever you want other to be. So those are our areas of focus. So pick one focus per area. Okay. So for example, in your personal, what do you want to tweak or change in your personal area? So it could be, I want to exercise 10 minutes a day, every day. You know, it doesn't have to be 1 hour. It doesn't even have to be, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to get a gym membership. It can be really sit down and think about what are you able to give? Because I know, right? There's always those gym jokes where it's like, oh, it's the new year, everyone's here working out. And then a month later, all these people like quit coming because it's overwhelming. We have these great big ideas. We're like, I'm going to work out and I'm going to become buff and I'm going to lose 1 million pounds and I'm going to be ready for summer. And then you have to get dressed and you have to fill up your water bottle and then you have to drive to the gym and then you have to get out of the car. You have to go in, you have to work out, and then you have to do everything in reverse. You have to go home. For me, that's too overwhelming. I hate going to the gym. It's never going to work for me. I'm not that committed, but I can get up and stay in my PJs and I can go for a walk. Whether it's around your couch, like 20 times, or if it's outside around the block, especially right now, it's, you know, sweater weather, no bra, nobody cares because you can't tell, right? So just do what you can do. even if it's just going outside in your backyard and going for a lap. If that's what you can give, then that's your focus for that area. If it's like, say it's family, what do you want to be doing together as a family? Like my 10-year-old always asks for family dinner. He's like, can we have a family dinner? He's like, I miss that we don't do that anymore. Cause my husband and I have just turned into like whatever you can find in the pantry. Like we're just exhausted by the end of the day. And so we hardly ever like cook, and everyone's eating their own food. And so for like a whole week, he begged for a family dinner. So like that might be our focus this year, is maybe at least planning a family dinner once a week. Business. What's the biggest thing that you want to focus on in your business? Is it creating a follow-up system? Is it having a better recruiting like system, the way that you want to do that? Is it connecting with your team? Is it getting out of your comfort zone and talking to more strangers? I mean, that's really scary, but it would be a good one. So that any of those could be a great focus. And then other. So if it's work, what does that look like? Do you love the job that you're in? Do you want a different job? Maybe you don't love one of your coworkers, and so you're gonna move past that, or you're gonna make them love you. I'm just kidding. But whatever that focus, you'll know what it is. You'll be like, oh yeah, this is what I want it to be. Now, once you have kind of figured that out, I want you to put those visible wherever you can see them. So maybe your personal, you put that in your bathroom. If your other is work, maybe you put that in your car, because you're going to be getting in your car to go to work. Like my husband and I both work from home, and he does not do Scentsy with me. Actually, he has like a legit job where he works from home. And so I'm actually at his desk in our bedroom. It's fantastic. And so he would put that right here on his computer screen where he could, see it every day. If it's your business, where are you constantly working your business? Is it at the kitchen table? Do you have an office? Do you work out of the closet? I've done all of those things. And so you would keep that wherever it is. And then your family, maybe that goes on your fridge, because you're constantly near your fridge. And then set reminders and check-ins, right? So set a reminder in your phone. Like if you're doing a budget, that's part of your family. It could also be other technically, but you're like, I want to get on budget. Set a reminder every night at 9 o'clock. Like I use an app called youneedabudget.com, and all of your bank accounts go into it. And so then you just have to like put things where they go. And so every night at like 9 o'clock, we're laying in bed watching TV, and my alarm goes off. I'm like, oh, I just need to go in and organize that. And so then I can keep on track with my budget. So it might be setting a reminder like that. If you're like, I want to follow up at least once a week with my customers, you're going to set a reminder and pick a time. Like, is lunchtime good for you? Is it when you get home from work? Pick a legit time. And if you've noticed that you keep hitting that snooze button, then figure out, okay, clearly 5 o'clock is not a good time to do follow-up, because you keep hitting that snooze button. So pick a different time and just keep tweaking it until you figure out when that good time is for you. And then do a check-in, right? After so many months, figure out what does that look like? Maybe once a month, you have a check-in with yourself, or if it's with your family, do a check-in with them, or your business, you could check in with your leader and go, okay, this is what I've been working on, and this is what's working and what's not, and what should I tweak, or what should I keep doing? And then the next best thing after that, so we've talked about like mental health and ways we're going to focus and become better, is figure out what is holding you back from any of it, right? We want to remove or kind of restrict those things. So I have learned over the course of many years, I love TV. I love it very much. I work best when I'm listening to any Real Housewives, and I'm like, because it's an easy show to have on while they're just like having so much drama, and I can work really well. But what I've learned is I cannot have dark, deep shows. I used to watch, oh, what is that? Scandal. Okay, when Scandal first came out, I watched season 2, it just came out. And so I was like, okay, I watched season 1 and then I was watching season 2. This is when I lived in like, the big city. I noticed I was paranoid anywhere I went. I was always paranoid to get out of my car. I was constantly looking like, is there a sniper in the tree? Is someone going to come out with a machete and like hack my head off? And I was like, what is happening? And I learned that whatever show I'm watching, I take it on. I don't know if I'm a full empath, but that's what I do. If you're in a bad mood, I tend to take it on. And if I'm watching a TV show, I take it on. And I've looked back and I'm like, oh my gosh, all these dark, dreary shows that I used to watch and I was in a bad mood forever is because I was taking on their mood from the show. So I immediately cut out Scandal and cut out any other show that would just make me feel paranoid all the time. So I can't like watch, which I know zombies aren't real, but I can't watch shows like that. I can't watch like dark where there's a lot of killing because then I'm constantly like paranoid that something's going to happen. And so if that's how you're feeling, if you're on edge a lot, what books are you reading? What are you listening to? Like, I know a lot of people love true crime. You can't handle it. You can't do it. So, and that's okay. You can be cool in other ways if you don't listen to those podcasts, right? So that's why I love Real Housewives. It's full of drama, but it's always upbeat and fun. And like the worst thing that happens is, oh my gosh, what Birkin bag am I going to carry today? Right? Like it's light and airy. So I do watch other shows besides that, but so evaluate what TV or movies you're watching and think about how they're affecting you. If they're not affecting you at all, then you're fantastic. Don't worry about it. Social media. There's lots of social media happening, right? Like you're scrolling and you're really happy. It's been a great day. And then you see that one person's post. And it's not even an ugly post, right? Like they're perfectly happy because they're talking about how awesome they are and how like they've gotten their person to Hawaii and they're going to earn Bora Bora and they just post about it every day. And all you want to do is reach through and punch them in the face. You know what? I'm giving you permission to unfollow them for a little bit. They're a good person and they're fine. But if it's making you feel less than, it's okay to take a break for a little bit. So that's totally fine. Also, if there's a lot of negative people, there's a little bit less negativity than there was a few years ago, a little less drama. But if there's that one person who's constantly posting about politics or religion, or you're just like, every time you see them, you just like roll your eyes. You're like, this person again? Just unfollow. You don't even have to like block them or unfriend them. Just hit the unfollow button. It's not that big of a deal. There was two people for a while that they just bugged the living like ever living everything out of me. It just every time I saw their posts, they're not with Sensi. I knew them through church, and their girls weren't always very nice to my girls, and they always acted like they had this perfect life. And I was like, I just wanted to punch them every time I saw them post. And so I just unfollowed them because I was like, it's not making me feel like a better person, making me feel crappier. And then I'm in a grouchy mood for a little while after. And so just hit the unfollow. It's fine. Friendships with family, friendships with friends, friendships, acquaintances. It's okay to set boundaries. I know a lot of people are going through that journey. I've been through it where I've had to create big, huge boundaries with family, so much so that there is no, until you get help, this door is closed. Like, don't come a knocking. So it's okay to do that. And it's okay to do that with friends. There's some amazing friends that we've had our entire lives, and then something changes and it's just not amazing anymore. And it's okay to kind of put up those boundaries. And I don't think anyone loves conflict. I mean, maybe a lawyer does, but like most people don't love conflict. And so you can have a legit discussion, or you can just slowly tiptoe away and be like, I'm taking a break from you. And that's okay. Find the people that love you for who you are and are wanting to lift you up. there was, and I can't remember his name because I have a horrible memory, but there was a speaker many years ago at SFR, and he talked about we are the 5 people that we surround ourselves with. And so that's really hit home for me, where I'm like, for example, my mom was, I didn't know for a long time, like really who she was, right? Like, 'cause she was my mom. I've lived with her my whole life. And so eventually I was like, wait a second, you're constantly doing this. I'm constantly feeling blah. You're bringing me down. Like, and that's when I started to reevaluate stuff. I was like, you know, just because they're family doesn't mean that they always have to be in your life. You know, that is a choice that you get to make. And so protect your mental health and protect your family's mental health. But mostly, you know, it's important to take care of yourself. Even if it's just, you know, we're on a break, you know, you can be legit Ross and Rachel and be on a break and take a break for a little bit. I hope that this has been helpful. If you have any questions, throw them in the chat. Or you can reach out to me on the Facebook or the Instagram or whatever, because I know people will be watching the recording. But just remember that you are here for a reason. You're in the Scentsy business for a reason. And everything that you go through, there is a reason for it. And sometimes when you're going through it, you're like, this is not fun and I don't like it. But I guarantee you all the things that I've gone through have been able to help me become a better person, mostly, and have helped me help other people. And I'm just really grateful that I could be here tonight to share all that. So, and y'all are doing better than you think you are. So thank you.
Thank you very much. That was awesome.
Thank you for coming on, Shellie. Does anybody have any questions for Shellie? I just linked her Facebook because I had that up already. I don't know what, I can't remember what your Instagram handle is.
It's the same. It's Shellie Eldredge.
With the
I'm
period.
very original.
I have a question for you, Shellie.
Yeah.
Do you sometimes switch up like your agendas for like what you want to focus on, like your habit for like the month or so? Like I've been reading a book about like habit shifts. Like 1 month you focus on this habit, then the next month you focus on this one, or do you do it all like together to protect your mental health space?
That's a great question. I think that sounds fantastic. I don't think I've actually ever officially done anything like that, but I will, I guess inadvertently I've done that. Like even, you know, you have your goals for the year. To me, that's always been slightly overwhelming. So I pick a word of the year that kind of encompasses what I want to focus on. So like this year it's health. And that's mental health, that's physical health, that's, you know, healthy relationships, healthy in my business. And so right now I'm focusing on my physical and mental health. And so then eventually that'll shift once I feel like I've gotten that under control. And so, yeah, I think that's a really great idea, is to do that every month. But don't be afraid if you're like, no, I'm still working on this one, to let it go longer before you shift.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, thank you very much. That was just a question I was just thinking of when you were talking. That was really awesome.
That's good. What book is that? What's it called?
Let's see here. Well, it was a little bit of a podcast too that I was checking out. Hold on. Let me get it for you.
Share your knowledge with us, Justin.
Sounds good.
Erin said that she loved the idea of unfollowing people and reevaluating your systems. So
good
to share that.
Yeah, hit that unfollow.
Hit the unfollow. Leave the group.
Yeah,
I'm such an advocate for that. It's all noise.
Yes, it is.
If it doesn't serve you, let it go. I'm like if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no person right now. Like,
yeah,
if I'm not all in on it, like, get it out of my eyesight, like get it out of my brain.
And don't feel bad. Like, so clearly I'm in my bedroom because my office is too cold right now because it's an actual like building outside. And I rarely make my bed. And I know there's like so much studies out there, right? That's like, make your bed and you'll be successful. And I'm like,
not Dawn, guys. She's not Dawn. She doesn't make her bed every day.
Yeah. And so I'm like, I'm still successful and I don't make my bed.
And she's still
so don't feel bad.
I can't not start my day off without making my bed. It's like
And that's totally fine. A lot of people are like that. I just
the
don't
whole
feel
day
bad
will go
about
to hell.
Justin, did you
Um,
find your thing?
Make Time: How to Focus on What Matters Every Day by Jake Knapp.
it.
Jake,
I love that.
how do you spell his last name?
Knapp.
Okay.
So it just kind of helps you focus on like every day. Like there was something about like monthly habits in there, and I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. I wonder if other people do that.
I like that. Anybody
But that's
else have any
awesome.
questions, thoughts, concerns? We have just over a week left in the month. So don't wait till the last day.
Do the thing.
Those
Go do the thing, work your business, show up.
Have
And
fun with it.
thank you for coming on and talking to us, Shellie.
Yeah,
Thank you,
anytime.
Shellie. I hope you have a
Thank you,
great year.
Shellie.
We love you. You guys have a great night and a great rest of your week.
Love you guys.
And
Bye.
we'll see you next month.
Bye, guys.
Bye.